Welcome to Racing News. In this week's show, we pay tribute to past KZN fast bowler, Springbok football referee, and Gold Circle executive producer Raymond Rogers. That's coming up later in the show. But first, our Racing News team were out and about shooting the gallops of the 111 lots on Bloodstock South Africa's upcoming Ready to Run sale. We bring you all the news and what you can look forward to. Bloodstock South Africa's Ready to Run sale, sponsored by Empress Palace, is set to take place a week from today on Sunday, the 4th of November. With 111 lots to go under the hammer, there is something for everyone. Gary, what's the attraction to buyers to purchase a ready-to-run 2-year-old or for sale like this compared to perhaps an unbacked yearling of any of our other sales?
I think possibly the biggest advantage is that you get the opportunity to narrow your odds. Yes. and perhaps make a more improved selection insofar as that you get to watch the horse breeze and you're able to form an opinion as to his athletic ability, more so in the case of when you're buying a yearling.
Yes.
I think a second advantage from a financial aspect is obviously you're buying the horse later in the year, the breeder's picked up more of the costs, and hopefully you have a shorter waiting period by the time your horse gets to the track.
And this ready-to-run sale has a really good reputation and history in the country.
Yes, it does, and once again we've renewed partnership with Empress Palace. So it's great to have them on board again as a sponsor. Not only that is that we've brought the sale now as part of the entire Empress Palace weekend. So there's a cocktail party on the Friday night, there's the Empress Palace Charity Mile and the Ready to Run Cup from the 2017 graduates from last year, and then culminating in the sale on Sunday. Going back to your earlier comment, yes, there have been stars such as Igugu and Pierre Jordan, just to mention two, but it does have a good pedigree, the sale.
Talking about the catalogue this year, do we have a good representation of sires?
I think we've got a great spread of sires. I think we've got a few of the old boys as such. I mean, there's Captain L, Trippy, Silvano, Dynasty are all represented. We've got the emerging stars, Gimme the Green Light, Querari, and so on. Master of My Fate, Jackson, I mean, virtually everyone represented. And then obviously the first season sires, Cape Town Noir, Divine Jet, two of them that just come to mind off the top of our head. And then obviously with Summerhill being our largest vendor in numbers, Visionaire is exceptionally well represented on the sale.
Well, I think we've been on record as saying it's never been as strong as this. Clearly, we got a bit lucky because a lot of those Group 1 winners that are in the catalogue came on after the national sales. Those horses had been retained. Some of them were latish sorts, but they've grown into the most spectacular bunch of horses. And I think if you ask my staff, don't take my word for it, they'll tell you that this lot is at least up to the 2016 lot that gave us three Group 1 winners. But I think in broad terms, the depth of this draft is as good as we've ever seen here in 30 years. And I think that's true of all the horses we saw today. I think this is probably, it's not the biggest ready-to-run sale ever by any stretch, but I think it's a very deep sale.
Talking about the build-up and the preparation to the sale, it takes a mammoth amount of work from everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah, ready-to-run is it's no walk in the park. Look, this is our 30th year, hey, 31st year of Ready to Runs, and I think we've sort of perfected what we can perfect. Strangely enough, here we were today, champion trainers, champion jockeys, former champion jockeys. They turn up. It wasn't a public gallops, as you know, but they kind of invited themselves because they're old mates, and I think they've had a great day as well. But it's an institutional thing today, and for me, I much prefer the Ready to Run to any other sale because I'm getting to understand my horses and to know them. I think you see a bit of personality, you see what they're made of, you see the character of the horse, you see how much they can take, you see how quickly they can learn. There's a whole lot of factors behind these horses that alert you to what's coming. And I think that's a great attribute of the sale. It's a wonderful advantage for buyers, of course, because they're no walking races, as I've so often said, but they can actually see these horses go. And I think we saw some smart performances out there today.
Do you think this is what sets a ready-to-run sale apart from any other sale, yearling sale or 2-year-old sale, where horses are sold unbroken?
Well, I think there's a huge advantage to buyers, let me put it that way to you. I mean, when we started this thing 30 years ago, everybody said, oh, they'll break down and this, that and the other thing. Well, we know all that's happened is they've got tougher. They've got, I think they lay on more layers of bone because of the work they do. We don't stress them a lot, as you know. We only ask them for 2 pieces of work. One was today and one was the other day. And I think it's probably fair to say that the concept has caught on worldwide, as you know. It's become a huge thing. And it started in little old Moy River 30 years ago, you know.
Well, looking at your draft here today, they seem to be conditioned exceptionally well this year, Mick.
Yes, both Tony and Garth Puller, Tony River and Garth Puller were saying they haven't seen a draft in better shape. They're carrying good condition, so I'd say not stripped really, but well covered, but athletically covered. And I think that's the optimum. You want to get ready-to-run horses ready for the sale, looking good, but at the same time they've got to be fit. And these horses have done the miles in terms of the slow work, so they've got a good base on them. And I'm confident there are horses in this draft that'll be running before Christmas. And I'm confident that there'll be a couple that'll win as early as that.
What did you think of the draft you saw here today?
Michelle, geez, what a lovely draft of horses. Really well prepared, forward individuals. I hardly saw a poor actioned horse here. Most of them looked like they had a good dose of speed in them too. And so I'm really impressed. I think maybe it's the best draft Mickey's ever taken to ready to run. The horses too, I had a look at them walking past at the back. They've got a lot of condition on them. Better than in previous years in my opinion. They've got plenty muscle tone's good. They've got some body on them. So I think they've done an unbelievable job. And I think there's a lot of decent horses here.
I must say this year they've really well turned out. What impressed me mostly was they're very well schooled. They went down the track well. I mean, you always get that 1 or 2 that don't want to go down, and there's normally a reason for that. But horses were very well schooled, well turned out, and they carried a lot of condition and weren't blowing hard. And what I liked about them, a lot of them went back to the off-saddling area very calmly. They would wait for each other down there, and they all trotted back quietly. There was no horses getting sweated up and dancing around. So they're obviously pretty fit. None of them blowing too heavily, and I must say it was really a good bunch. Probably for me, and I've been coming to here for years, I think probably the strongest bunch I've seen.
We've had a very successful national yearling sale and also 2-year-old sale. Do you think that confidence in the market will hopefully carry through to this sale?
Look, we definitely hope so. I mean, obviously for the industry we need it, and I think these are nice horses. These are good specimens. I was impressed with a lot of the gallops. I can't tell you offhand because I like to go through my markings and see. But yeah, some very nice horses, and they're big and strong and good action. And you know, the ground is pretty firm, and they obviously have worked on it before, so they've had to go through that. So they're obviously tough enough. Because if I must say, I noticed maybe only 2 out of the whole batch that were a little bit schinsel, and they've probably rightly got reasons for it, and they'll get over that.
Steph, you've been behind one of the cameras today. What was it like?
It was hot, very hot, but it's wonderful to see the horses. I must say it's the first time I've actually had to film the gallop, and it's amazing. It's amazing to see the animals, amazing to see the condition they're in. A couple of mishaps, the jockeys falling off or struggling to get on the horses once they've fallen off, but besides that it was wonderful. I actually enjoyed it very much.
So we're all set for a good sale, I hope.
Yeah, it really looks so. I mean, from my point, I'm looking to get a bargain, and from Mickey's point, he's looking to get the money. So, yeah, look, I think it'll square off, and it'll be good for everybody.
Look, you know, it depends from which perspective you look at it. We, the buyers, we hope they achieve, you know, but obviously for the breeders, they need to get a return on this investment, you know. Listen, these horses are nice, and nice horses generally sell themselves, and I think when people have a look at these horses, they'll buy.
People are always drawn by good horses, and they'll only have to look at the movies here, and they'll come to their own conclusions about these horses. I'd be very surprised if there's not a good turnout at the sale, because if you're a trainer and you're looking for good horses, or if you're an owner and you want to be in the big race lineups going forward, I think there are a lot of horses in the sale that will write the ticket for you.
Gary, when will the horses start arriving at Gosforth Park?
Yeah, first horses are due in on the 26th of October. I think more of them will be later on in the week, and I expect Thursday, Friday, Saturday to be the main viewing days, and obviously there will be people having second looks on Sunday morning.
Now there's lots to look forward to next year.
Yes, I mean, we're very pleased to announce that we have a 2019 Empress Palace Ready to Run Cup, once again over 1400 meters, and we're pleased to announce that we have a minimum stake, guaranteed stake of 850,000, and then obviously depending on the uptake or the sales, the clearance rate of the ready to run horses, possibly the stake could be higher.
And obviously that race is open to all graduates from this sale?
Yes, only graduates from this sale will qualify for that race next year. So there are 111 catalogues, so you've got a very good chance of getting into a race worth at least 850,000.
Gary, this is the last sale of the year, is it?
Yes, it is. So this is your last opportunity to buy a 2-year-old. So come to the Empress Palace 2018 Ready to Run sale and pick your champion.
With all of Alec Laird, Arzeka Stud, Far End Racing Stables, Gardini Stud, Hill Racing, PU van Schoor, Patterson Racing, Southford Stud, Stonehill Stud, Summerhill Sales and Van Ries Stud, there is something for everyone. It was with great sadness that Gold Circle executive producer Raymond Rogers passed away on Monday, the 8th of October. Raymond Rogers was larger than life and someone who threw himself into all he did with both passion and commitment, traits that were evident right from his early days.
I first met Raymond as a schoolboy, as an opponent, and Raymond was a very, very quick bowler at school. So it was a frightening experience to watch him from the batter's end. Frightening. He was a big guy, and he was quick. And he played in an era of really, really top cricketers at school.
He set a record of being the first and is still the only grade 10 pupil from Westville Boys High to have earned his Natal school cricketing colours. The following year, he went on again to become the first Westville Boys High pupil to make the Nuffield 11, which was the equivalent of the SA schools in those days. As a provincial cricketer and subsequent Springbok football referee, Raymond made a name for himself in the sporting arena.
I recall his speed and run-up. His run-up was exceptionally long. He used to go across, and if the lights were green, he could start his run. He'd go across the zebra crossing, you'd see him black, white, past the beer tent, through the crowd, open the gate and down the field. And he'd come at such a speed, his run-up would go past the batsman, you know, but he used to drop them short, and Mickey used to play against him. So Mickey being a dwarf, every delivery went straight over Mickey's head. So Mickey's to fear Raymond. That was Raymond. Boom, straight over to wicket. Mickey stood next to the beer tent. He was, yeah. The Raymond was, he was quick. Sure, quick as a $1 massage, as I say. Boom, 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 boom. He was a great bowler. And then he went into refereeing, and he started off in the Premier League where we started off our football, and he went on professional. And he was always a fair guy, a good guy, a top referee. He was fit and pacey, and then he went into Kaiser Chiefs. He went right through the ranks. He was one of the best refs in the country.
Raymond earned his Springbok colours as a referee, and in 1996 and 97 was voted the PSL Referee of the Year. When Liverpool, Spurs, Aston Villa and Arsenal came to South Africa to play a series of friendly matches against our country's best, it was Raymond who was selected to ref those games.
He has total control of the game, but as a lot of friends that played with me would actually tell you, I mean, I thought I was in control of a lot of the games, telling the referee how to do his job, and he never ever came across in an arrogant way. He always came sort of over as a parent, as a, you know, come on, Doug, you know, calm down, you know, it's only a game type of thing. He did get me in the book a few times. He is a world-class referee, and yeah, we were blessed that he was in our era.
Raymond developed a following wherever he went, even when out with friends enjoying a meal at a local restaurant.
Raymond consistently was of great entertainment, not only to myself, but more importantly, to all the waiters and waitresses. And they became aware of his background, being a referee they idolized him, and more importantly, because of his rapport and his consistently over Easter time and Christmas, he would hand out gifts to the waiters and waitresses.
But most of us know Raymond for his outstanding contribution to broadcast, and particularly to Gold Circle.
I met Raymond when he took Winning Ways under his wing, and that was from the first episode. Day one, Raymond was our producer. It's been an unbelievable association. He was a man who I'm really going to miss. Despite arguing with him non-stop, I loved him. He was like a brother.
I think he was just a larger-than-life character. You know, you heard him coming 200 meters before he got to you. But besides that, he was actually a gentle giant, a good guy.
He taught me my trade and what I do, directing and producing. From the time he walked into the room, it was just this big person with this big voice. The biggest trait you'd remember of Raymond was the high lani. Wherever he went, it would reverberate through the walls.
He was a boss, but he calls us Lani. You know what I mean? That is the most interesting thing. But you know what? He was very helpful. He always tried to keep me comfortable in this department, especially when I started. And he's always trying to be there for us. He was always accommodating.
He's been like a part of my family member, and he was a great guy. I can say, may his soul rest in peace. We'll always remember him with his like loudy voice when he's directing, and that's all I can say about him.
I remember him being the caring and loving boss and a second father to me.
He treated us as his kids mostly, because we had all our ups and downs at times, but he made sure that he accommodates all of us, because I guess he understood that we all come from different backgrounds, and he was able to manage all that. And
you know, that was Raymond, this was his life, and we were like his family. So
I could always advise me, like both personally and professionally. I'd always cherish the great memories we shared together for the past 15 years. Yeah.
Basically, we were a family. Our entire crew, from all obviously nationality, Indians, colors, and the black girls, we all were, we could communicate with them. I think that's one of the things that we remembered.
He was just so open and friendly, and any time I had a problem and I had to step away, like he would pull me aside and talk to me like properly. And that's one thing I always remember about him, is he treated everyone very equally and gave everyone the same sort of respect and time and everything like that.
If you needed help, he was there no matter what.
He always had that open door policy in his office. His doors were always open for you, no matter what time of day. Whatever problems you had, you could share with him. And I think that's one of the things that I remember about him. Approachable, kind-hearted.
And he was a very good person. He was a gentle soul, as everybody called him. Yeah. So that's Raymond for me.
Raymond was kind of a unique person. He's not one easy to forget. He was like a big giant teddy bear with a growl of notes.
His bark was certainly far bigger than his butt, and he's taught me so much in the TV industry. And
well, the most things I remember about him was his shouting, shouting at you. But he was very kind, and you could speak to him and stuff.
What I remember the most about him is that he was the most understanding boss. Yeah. He didn't stay angry for long, and I could be straightforward with him.
For me, the thing that sticks out the most is his punctuality. He was always half an hour at events that he had to be at. If you were late for work, he'd let you know in no uncertain terms.
Firstly, we are very saddened that we have to lose such an incredible boss. He's one of a kind. He used to make us laugh. I used to come in early mornings just to challenge him to see who comes in first, but usually he beats me. I'm very grateful and I appreciate him because he has given me a job, and not only that, he has portrayed a father figure to me.
He had a passion, he had a love for this industry. He just loved coming to work. He was here most of the time. He just loved it.
He was a very passionate person about his job, and he wouldn't let nothing fall apart. So he made sure that he helps us wherever he can.
He had the ability to spot talent. And all of us who are here, it's a diverse community, but we're all talented in the TV department. We all have our skills within there. And we were able to cultivate our skills under Raymond. And that's probably the greatest or the best thing that I would always remember about Raymond.
He's one of the guys who gave me quite a lot of experience, especially when it comes to camera operating.
I'm sure everybody will miss him because he was like a father to everybody. Everybody loved him, especially in this department, because he was taking care of everyone, he loved everyone. Yeah, that's why I'm saying he was like a father. He was everything to us.
He always had a smile on his face, and he always had a joke up his sleeve. And if we have a problem, you always go up to him, he'd always say, "Don't worry, my girl, we'll sort something out."
The time I did, he always spoke his mind. He was always brutally honest, but also always had a sense of fun, you know, there was never a dull moment with Raymond.
He was a good boss, so loving, and a good father.
Raymond was a good man, supported me a lot, so yeah.
You gonna miss him?
Definitely.
He was a very, very good boss to us. He's the one who gave me this chance to work here at GoldCircle TV.
You gonna miss him?
Oh, a lot. I'm gonna miss his loud-pitched voice, and you know, he's always, you can just hear him all over the place. You can't do anything wrong because he's always there.
I'm gonna miss him a lot as a boss, and he was kind of like a father also, you know, and he was just, yeah, he was the best boss ever, actually.
A good friend to have, and he's going to be sorely missed. They're big boots that need to be filled.
There's going to be a huge void left. There really is.
You gonna miss him?
Oh yeah, it's gonna take getting used to.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss him a lot, and you know, his jokes and stuff. So
what I remember most about Raymond was the jokes we had together. When I came to the office, we'd always have a good laugh. I miss him so much, just the jokes we had, and I still feel like I'm going to come to the office and I'm going to tell him a joke or share something with him, and then I get here and I'm like, there's nobody here that will get my joke the way Raymond did.
He taught me a lot, and I'll always miss him for that because he gave me a second chance in life.
Good guy, a gentle guy, a really good guy. I miss him sorely.
He cared for me, basically, and not only me, I think many other people, hence his massive following in the sports fraternity.
He was just so easy to get on with. I don't think Raymond ever said an unkind word to anybody in his life.
What I will miss about him is his kindness. He's been very good to us. Yeah. He's been very good leader to us. It will take us some time to believe that he's no more with us.
What might you miss about him, Ethel?
Everything. I think Raymond was one of life's truly great guys.
A gentle soul, a good guy, and as I say, untimely death.
He's just such a sad loss to the racing, to all of us. A great man, and captain is the right word. May he rest in peace.
Sadly, he's gone now, and yeah, so and we never had that coffee, but maybe one day we'll have it in heaven.
So he will be sorely missed by many because he was a supreme leader.
I feel very bad that his family have to go through this, but just as much as it's hard for them, it is hard for us. He's one of a kind, he's irreplaceable, and we love him and we miss him a lot.
Life, it's like a vapor. One day we're here, the next we're gone, and every moment we have with someone special, we need to cherish it.
But as the Bible says, that there's time for everything. There's time for living, there's time for death. We'll have to accept. I'll ask him to rest in peace. The Bible also says that if we say we have no sin in this earth, we are lying. But if there is any doubt of his sin that we don't know, may God forgive him for that. I wish him to rest in peace.
I just want to encourage his family as well, that to wish them, like in this time of bereavement and their loss, just for them to stay strong and take the happy moments that Raymond left behind. And that's how Raymond left the earth. He left the place, earth, a better place.
Rest in peace, Raymond. I'll miss you. You are a second dad to me.
May his soul rest in peace.
His soul rest in peace.
So it's farewell, Raymond. Let your team continue the legacy you created. Captain, our captain, rest in peace. Raymond's contribution to Gold Circle was significant, and he'll be sorely missed by many. That's a wrap for this week's show. We'll see you all again in a fortnight on Sunday, the 11th of November, when we speak to KZN Personality of the Year, Philip Fourie, as well as chatting with a group of people important in our sport of horse racing, the grooms. The Racing News Show and previous screenings are available online at www.goldcircle.co.za. Click on the YouTube icon, go to playlists and click on Racing News to access all shows to date.